Hello dear friends, welcome to my channel Literature Experts. Here I am back with another mock test on history of English literature. So you know that the date for the exam of Assistant Master Mistress English conducted by WBPSC has been announced. It will be conducted in the month of September this year 2025. So I hope you have started your preparation with full motivation and seriousness. So I have already uploaded two mock tests on history of English literature, and there are other videos also in my channel. Uh, Suggestion on the each and every part of syllabus on literature part, grammar, vocabulary, rhetoric, various texts, novel, poetry, drama, and also I have shared the strategy how to read like a proper to secure your success. And there are other videos on history of English literature also, so if you have not watched them and if you have missed any of these important videos, you can go to the YouTube channel Literary Experts, and there is a playlist on completely dedicated to assistant master mistress exam English subject. So let's start our today's mock test on history of English literature. Question number 1: which nursery rhyme could be seen in Eliot's The Wasteland? So you know the Wasteland is the famous modern poem published in 1922. So we find a reference to a nursery rhyme in that particular poem. So which is that? Ring a roses, Humpty Dumpty, London Bridge is falling down, Jack and Jill. So its answer will be London Bridge is falling down. So T.S. Eliot, in his famous poem, his magnum opus, The Wasteland, he not only takes references from literary texts like Shakespeare or other writers, but also from popular forms like songs, nursery rhymes, music. So it's a very interesting poem, and there are various references. So sometimes these questions are also asked in exam. So you need to study about them because the Wasteland is a classic text. You cannot skip it when you are reading history of English literature. So the next question we have: in which of the following poems by Browning he uses the term serpenting beauty to describe the beauty of the female character? So, in which of the poems by Robert Browning we find the term serpenting beauty? Porphyria's lover, Andrea del Sarto, Fra Lippo Lippi, My Last Duchess. Its answer is Andrea del Sarto. So, in this poem, Robert Browning uses the term serpenting beauty. Next, epitaph of Eliot's famous poem, The Hollow Man, Mr. Courage, He Dead, is taken from Joseph Conrad, Heart of Darkness, D.H. Lawrence's Women in Love, George Orwell's Animal Farm, Graham Greene's The Power and the Glory. So this is the epitaph, Mr. Courage, He is Dead, in Eliot's famous play The Hollow Man. And this is actually a line from a famous novel, a modern novel, that is Heart of Darkness, written by Joseph Conrad. So its answer is Heart of Darkness. Next question: To the Lighthouse by Virginia Woolf, divided into three parts, is divided into three parts. Select the word on out of the following: the window, the lighthouse, the cabin, time passes. So To the Lighthouse, another famous novel by a modern writer, Virginia Woolf. It's called Stream of Consciousness novel, and that novel is divided into three parts actually, and the parts are in the following forms: the window, time passes, and the lighthouse. So the cabin is not a part of this novel. So the answer will be the cabin. Next question we have: fame is the last infirmity of noble mind. In which Milton's poem does this line occur? So here is the line from John Milton, and we need to find out the poem. Areopagitica, Samson Agonistes, Lycidas, Paradise Regent. So this line has been taken from John Milton's poem Lycidas. So you remember that Lycidas is an elegy, a pastoral elegy. A pastoral elegy is where uh, the dead person and the living person who is mourning his death, both are presented as shepherds. So from there we get the term pastor. Pastor in Latin means shepherd. So from there we get the term pastoralist. So pastoral elegy Lycidas is a famous pastoral elegy written by John Milton, and it is written to celebrate the death of his college friend Edward Young. So remember that these questions can be asked. Anything related to Lycidas can be asked. This is a classic elegy in the history of English literature. Next question we have, shut, shut the door, good John, fatigued I said, which of Pope's poem begins with this line? So this is a line, the opening line of a poem written by Alexander Pope, and which is the poem? Dunciad, Rape of the Lock, Epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot, and Epistle. So its answer is Epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot. Dr. Arbuthnot is the friend, a friend of the poet, and epistle means later. So you know that epistolary novel is there, like Samuel Richardson Pamela. So epistle, this term means later. So epistolary novel is where we see that the story is narrated through a series of letters. Next question we have, to promote which of John Osborne's play, the phrase angry young man originally coined by the royal court. So you see this phrase is very very important when you read history of English literature. There are so many groups of writers, playwrights, theater persons. So angry young man is one of them. So to promote which of John Osborne's play, the phrase was used. The devil inside him, Charge of the Light Brigade, Inadmissible Evidence, Look Back in Anger. So its answer is Look Back in Anger. It's a very very famous play by John Osborne. You need to read about the play, its premiere, the characters, and you must have a little bit idea about the summary, what is there. So these angry young men, this term refers to a group of writers in the 1950s. And remember friend that John Osborne's Look Back in Anger is a very famous text of angry young men movement, and another is Lucky Jim written by Kingsley Amis. And this Lucky Jim is a novel. It's a campus novel. It's a very beautiful satire on the academia, on the academic lobby, on university education. Next question we have, as flies to wanton boys are we to the gods. They kill us for their sport. Which of the Hardy's novel has the quoted lines of Shakespeare? See the questions, the level of questions. It's a bit difficult question that you will know that as flies to wanton boys, this quotation is a very famous quotation of Shakespeare, and we find it in King Lear, the classic tragedy. But the question is here that Thomas Hardy has quoted the line in one of his novels, and we need to find out that novel. Jude the Obscure, A Pair of Blue Eyes, The Mayor of Casterbridge, Taste of the D'Urbervilles. Its answer is Taste of the D'Urbervilles. So many writers later they have quoted lines from their previous writers. Like just we had a question that T.S. Eliot quoted from Heart of Darkness. So here Thomas Hardy has quoted from Shakespeare, and we need to find out the text. And the text is the classic tragedy, a novel of tragedy, Taste of the D'Urbervilles. Next question, which Indian writer used the term chutneyfication of culture? K.S. Venkataramani, R.K. Narayan, Salman Rushdie, Mulk Raj Anand. So, friends, you know that in the syllabus, the prescription is history of English literature from 1340 to 2000 to the contemporary time. So don't be confused that English literature is just literature of Britain or England. No, in English literature you need to study American literature as well as Indian literature also. So you can get the idea because there are two Indian texts, the shadow lines and the guide, which is prescribed in your syllabus. So from there we get the idea, very idea that Indian writers will be asked definitely. Not only that, in previous year also they have been asked. So if you have not watched the videos on PYQs I have solved with detailed explanation, you can find on my YouTube channel. I'll give the link in the description so you can click on that and watch. So Salman Rushdie, he is famous with coining the term chutneyfication of English or chutneyfication of culture. Next question we have, whom did Dryden say? So here is a quotation which was said by John Dryden, and he said about whom, who of all modern and perhaps ancient poets had the largest and most comprehensive soul? Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, Marlowe Chaucer. So it's Shakespeare. John Dryden has said this about Shakespeare. Actually, there are many critics, other writers who have commented on Shakespeare in various ways using various terms. And you need to be very, very careful and remember, like uh, uh, abstract crow. Abstract crow is a term. It has been said by Robert Greene, one of the university wits about Shakespeare. So there are other quotation also, other commentaries on Shakespeare. What you need to do, you need to list down all those quotations, famous quotations said on Shakespeare by other writers. Anything can be asked. Next question we have: who says a woman must have money and a room of her own if she is to write fiction? Emily Bronte, Diana Neil, Virginia Woolf, Mrs. Moore. So it's a famous line actually, that it's a famous feminist line, that if a woman wants to pursue the profession of being a writer, she must be independent. She must have her own money and a room of her own. So from here, you can predict the answer actually, that a room of one's own. This is the famous classical text in feminism written by Virginia Woolf, and in that work she has commented this line. She has said this famous line. So next question we have: identify the work of Dylan Thomas from the following. So which is written by Dylan Thomas? Oh Lovely England, The Box of Delights, Malice in Wonderland, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. So it's sorry, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Dog. So you see, the title is identical. The famous another work, A Portrait of the Artist, a Young Man, written by James Joyce, that is famous Bildungsroman in modern period, and as if in a kind of parody, Dylan Thomas has written this work, Portrait of the Artist as a Young Dog. So be careful about the identical titles. Like Prelude, the Prelude is written by William Wordsworth, but when it is Preludes, which is there in your syllabus, it is written by T.S. Eliot. So there are actually many identical titles also. So you need to be careful about them. Next question we have: who authored the novel Northanger Abbey? So Northanger Abbey, who has written that? Hazlitt, Jane Austen, Marriott, none of them. Its answer is Jane Austen. And remember that Northanger Abbey, it is a parody of the Gothic novel. So Gothic novel, Castle of Otranto or the Mysteries of Udolpho, these were quite popular during the towards the end of 18th century and during the Romantic period. And Northanger Abbey by Jane Austen, it is a parody of the Gothic novel. So its point, this point is very very important from exam point of view. Next question we have: which among the following poem of Coleridge is based on his dreams? Dejection and Ode, Kubla Khan, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, Lyrical Ballad. So its answer is, friend, Kubla Khan. Kubla Khan. Its full title is Kubla Khan, A Vision in a Dream. So this is a dream poem actually written by S.T. Coleridge. Next question we have: what sort of genre is Shelley's The Necessity of Atheism? Poem, play, pamphlet, novel? It is pamphlet. So friends, this question is very important. Why? Because this pamphlet, The Necessity of Atheism, it was written by P.V. Shelley, and for this he was actually expelled from University College, which was under Oxford. So he was expelled from the Oxford for writing a pamphlet which is The Necessity of Atheism. So this point is very important. Next question we have: which sort of genre is James Joyce's Exiles? So, what is the literary form of James Joyce's Exiles? Novella, elegy, poetry collection, play. So, its answer is play. It is also important. Why? Because it is the only play. James Joyce is the writer of novels and short stories. He is famous for Ulysses and A Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man. But Exiles, this is important because this is the only play written by James Joyce. So, its answer is play. Next question: who founded the Abbey Theatre with the collaboration of Lady Gregory, George Moore, and Edward Martin? Samuel Beckett, James Joyce, W. B. Yeats, Robert Louis Stevenson, R. L. Stevenson. So, who founded the Abbey Theatre? The Abbey Theatre, it was very instrumental in the Irish literary renaissance. So, during the initial decade of the 20th century, there is this Abbey Theatre which was founded in Ireland, Dublin. So there were many people actually. Larry Gregory, George Moore was there, and J.M. Scenes also was there, and W.B. Yeats was instrumental. So its answer will be W.B. Yeats. Next question we have, who edited T.S. Eliot's The Wasteland? The Wasteland, famous poem by T.S. Eliot. It was edited by Henry James, Ezra Pound, Robert Bridges, W. Beard. So its answer is Ezra Pound. Ezra Pound, actually T.S. Eliot wrote the original Wasteland. It was very lengthy than what we have today as the text of the poem. And Ezra Pound, T.S. Eliot considered him as his guru, as his mentor. Even if you read the Wasteland, another important point from the exam point of view is that this wasteland has been dedicated to Ezra Pound, Il Miglior Febro, which means the better craftsman. So this is also important point. Next question, 19. Happiness is but an occasional episode in the general drama of in pain. In which of Hardy's novel do we find this sentence? So this is a famous sentence. You see general drama of pain, as if this is reinforcing the idea of Buddhism that life is full of sorrow. So it sees that it is a very pessimistic view of life, that the novelist is talking about, that life is full of pain and there is only happiness is only an occasional episode. So there is happiness for very momentary. Happiness is momentary. So which in which novel of Thomas Hardy do we find this sentence? Tales of the Dear Orwells, The Mayor of Casterbridge, The Return of the Native, Jude the Obscure. Its answer is The Mayor of Casterbridge. Next question we have, which of E.M. Forster's novel published after his death? So, which is the posthumous publication of E.M. Forster? Where Angels Fear to Tread, The Longest Journey, Maurice, Howard's End. Its answer is Maurice. Maurice is the novel written by E.M. Forster, which was published after his death. Why? Because Maurice, this novel is it has the theme. It deals with homosexuality. So the theme of homosexuality is there, and E.M. Forster, he did not consider it right to be published during his lifetime. So it was published after his death. Next question we have, a portrait of the artist, a young man, the famous novel in modern period is a. So what type of work is this? Allegorical novel, epistolary novel, picaresque novel, Bildungsroman. So its answer is Bildungsroman. Bildungsroman novel is referring to, it refers to novel of education where there is the tracing of the hero. There is development from birth to young age, or a kind of progression in his character, in his development. Next question, what is the pen name of Eric Arthur Blair? This is also an important question. James Joyce, Joseph Conrad, T.S. Eliot, George Orwell. So we know George Orwell by this name, but George Orwell is the pen name and his original name is Eric Arthur Blair. And you need to remember an important point, that George Orwell was born in India actually under the Bengal presidency, and he was particularly born in Motihari, which is in Bihar these days. So next question we have, who asserted Commonwealth literature does not exist? V.S. Naipaul, Salman Rushdie, Amitabh Ghosh, Nirad Chaudhary. So Salman Rushdie has written an essay. The title of the essay is Commonwealth literature does not exist. So it's the argumentation of the essay and the title of the essay is also same. Which work of Samuel Beckett is subtitled as Tragi-Comedy in Two Acts? Waiting for the Godot, Kraft's Last Step, Endgame, Not I. So its answer is the famous absurd drama Waiting for Godot. Its subtitle is Tragi-Comedy in Two Acts. So sometimes they give the main title, the primary title, and ask that what is the subtitle, and here the question is reverse. The subtitle is there and you need to identify the primary title. So its answer is Waiting for Godot, written by Samuel Beckett. So next question we have, Macflecknoe is an attack on Dryden's literary rival. Macflecknoe, a satirical poem, very famous poem written by John Dryden in the Restoration period. So this poem actually attacks one of his rival, literary rival. And who is that? Richard Flecknoe, Thomas Sadwell, John Wilmot, Matthew Prior. Its answer is Thomas Sadwell. And remember that Richard Flecknoe, that character, the name is there actually in Mac Flecknoe. So Mac means son of Flecknoe. So though the character is there, Richard Flecknoe, but he is satirizing Dryden attacks Thomas Sadwell. So the next question we have, forever will thou love and see fair, is a line from Keats's. So this is a line which has been taken from one of the poems written by John Keats. So what is the poem? Ode to a Nightingale, Ode on a Grecian Urn, Ode to Melancholy, Ode to Psyche. Its answer is Ode on a Grecian Urn. So the Grecian Urn is there, and there are some inscription, there are some pictures which are permanent. So there is a lover who is trying to make love to his lady love, but the lady love is escaping from him, flying away from him as if. So this is the line. Why? Because that picture is permanent, so the lover will never touch, he cannot touch his lady love, so he will continue to love him forever. And because it's a picture, so this beloved, see here, she will be beautiful, she will be fair forever. So this line, it emphasizes the power of art, that there is this impermanence in our human life, in actual life, but there is permanence in art, in work of art, poetry, the power of poetry in eternalizing the beauty. Next question. The Nobel Prize for Literature in 1941 was given to T.S. Eliot, Stephen Spender, W.H. Warden, G.S. Fraser. So it's T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot was awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1948. Next question we have, to take up white man's burden and reap his own rear. By whom these famous lines have been taken? This line is also very important. This is often quoted in post-colonialism, the white man's burden. This is an idea which has been taken from a poem. So what is the poem? So the question is that who has written the poem? Rudyard Kipling, Robert Bridges, W. B. Yeats, W. H. Davis. So it's Rudyard Kipling who has written the poem. The name of the poem is The White Man's Burden. So this poem is very important from post-colonial point of view. And remember that Rudyard Kipling, he was also born in India. He was born in Bombay. He was born and brought up in Bombay, and he has written this famous book, The Jungle Book, which has been made into film also. So the next question we have, the Nobel Prize for Literature to W. B. Yeats was given in the year. So in which year W. B. Yeats he was awarded the Nobel Prize? 1933, 1910, 1895, 1923. So its answer is 1923. So you can actually remember this very easily, that W.B. Yeats, he is famous for writing the preface to the Gitanjali, Songs Offering, the English version by Rabindranath Tagore. So Rabindranath Tagore, he got the Nobel Prize in 1913, and just after 10 years, W.B. Yeats also was awarded the Nobel Prize. So when Tagore got Nobel Prize in 1913 for Gitanjali, W.B. Yeats got Nobel Prize in 1923. So you can remember this way. It will be easier to remember. So the last question for this mock test we have, who is associated with art for art's sake? So art for art's sake, you know that this is a literary movement which says that art does not have any responsibility, social responsibility or political responsibility. So art is produced for its own sake. So there are pioneers, there are proponents of this idea. So we need to identify who among the following supported this concept of art for art's sake. Ruskin, Pater, Carlyle, Newman. So its answer is Walter Horatio Pater. Walter Horatio Pater, he was a pioneer of arts for art's sake. And you remember also that Oscar Wilde, another writer of Victorian age, he was also a supporter of this art for art's sake movement. So this was the mock test, friends, and here is an important announcement for you, that since the exam date has been announced, so very soon we'll have the full notification. Here I have started mock test series on assistant master mistress English. So what you are getting in this mock test, that there are topic wise mock test. I'll be taking topic wise mock test. History of English literature will be there, and then there will be particular test on different eras: age of Chaucer, on Elizabethan age, then Caroline age, Restoration age, 18th century literature, Victorian, Roman, Romantic literature, modern, postmodern literature, Indian literature, and American literature. Besides that, there will be different tests on the various topics of grammar and vocabulary and rhetoric also, because figure of speech also there, and figures of speech have been asked actually in previous year. That is very important. And comprehension test, other than the text, all the text as you like it: Macbeth, or To the West Wind, or Shadow Lines Guide, Preludes. And questions and answers will be provided in PDFs form, so you can always refer back to them. And since many of you are readers from history literature for a long time, so some of you have texted me and asked that, sir, I have lost the interest in history of literature, how to get back to that? So for that, I am here focusing. There is this special focus on history of English literature. So you will get this in this mock test series, and there will be online meetings and discussion also. When there is some need, we'll discuss about many confusions, many doubts. You have so many questions, and OMR sheets are provided, which is beneficial for your practice, because ultimately you need to give the exam in OMS. It's better to practice before you go to the exam hall. So if you are interested to join that, you can WhatsApp on this number 9800982695. So this was the video, friend, on history of English literature mock test. If you find the video helpful, hit the like button. Many more interesting videos on this topic are coming soon in upcoming days. To make sure that you don't miss any of these videos, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you will get the notification whenever there is a new video. If you need any particular topic or you have any queries, you can write that in the comment box. Thank you. See you again in the next video.